Hello everybody, Maze here, and I am doing my first ever 3v3 in a very long time. And I haven't seen this replay, but I labeled it as Epic 3, so it's probably going to be pretty entertaining. And honestly, I think 3v3 is one of the most fun things to cast. I think 3v3 and FFA would probably be the two craziest things I can think of. 4v4 is a little bit overkill because it's really, I mean, just so much stuff is going on, and it's so easy to kill one person that if I find a good 4v4, I'll cast it. I don't typically play them, but I think threes and FFA are probably the most fun because there's just so much going on. It is never a boring time in 3v3. So let's see. I'm here with TickTok and Hypn0tika, my usual partners, and we are on the left side of the map, and then it's two Zerg and then a Protoss. So we have spawned as Rainbow, and Protoss are on the side over there, and I'm building up on my choke right here, and I'm probably going to go for, if I recall, I think I go sentries this game because any map that has these nice little chokes right here, it's very beneficial to have sentries for both defensive and offensive reasons. One thing you can do is you can go in with some Zerglings and some Stim Marauders, run into the base, knock this out, put sentry fields in here, and this person is pretty much eliminated. So when you eliminate someone in threes, it's a huge deal. It's way more important than when you eliminate someone in fours. So getting an attack like that is really useful. That's why I like to get sentries. Also, against two Zergs, sentries are great because if they go mass Ling, having that force field block is crucial because you want to try to split the Lings and funnel them as much as possible. As a rule of thumb against Zerg, you want to fight them in funnels or in split armies, not in mass, because mass Zerg, that's inherently their strength. So you want to have a force field. You want to have a lot of force fields with Zerg. And also, if they do go roaches, it's always nice to have that shield, that extra 2 negation that you get on all ranged attacks is good throughout the entire game. And also splitting up roaches is always nice, so sentries are never a bad thing to have against 2 Zerg, especially against maps like this. So let's take a look. The production tab is going to be going crazy as the game progresses. I'll try to keep this on. But honestly, there's just so much happening in the production tabs it's hard to follow. But we do see that there are speed links for both Hypn0tika and the purple Zerg, and I think speed links are going to be going for the yellow, coming out for the yellow Zerg as well here. Yes, we see still triple speed links, so sentries are definitely going to be great for this map. And something that I like to do, I'm not sure if this is something I started doing when I actually play this map, but you can actually get a 4-gate out really quickly if you save a couple of your chrono boosts. You can get about 4 chrono boosts out on your entire sentry field. So, or not your sentry field, your warp gate. So it makes your 4-gate come out really fast. It hurts your economy a little bit, but I think it could be worth it in a fours or in a threes where it's really time to rush oriented in my opinion. Another thing, a 4-gate typically comes out at around 6 minutes or a little bit before 6 minutes, so a well-executed 4-gate will come out around that time. So that's usually a good time to push. If you can push actually before those 6 minutes, that's even better because the Protoss is not going to have their warp gates up. They're not going to have, 2 batches of 4 units coming out at a time, so it's really the best time to attack. If you're playing Terran or something, get out Marauders and go across the map right now. That would be my recommendation for you because I don't have warp gates up. This guy does not have warp gates up yet, and even if he does, he can only warp in 3, so it's a good time. So Zerglings are coming across the map right now. They are going into Hypn0tika's base, but Hypn0tika's prepared for this. He has got Banelings. Oh, why did he explode? The Banelings, why didn't you explode? And doing some good micro here. Actually, the purple player is trying to creep away at those Banelings, and Hypn0tika does end up using one, so not bad. More Zerglings coming in, so there are purple and yellow Zerglings coming in right now. Hellion's actually coming from TickTok, so we have both prepared. Actually, all of us have prepared pretty much for mass speedling, and these Marines are toast, and my poor Zealot is surrounded by a lot of freaking Zerglings, and my sentry is going to get stuck here, and I figure since he's dead, I might as well just block off TickTok's base because there is not much left for him to defend. So he does have one siege tank. 2 Zealots here are going to be able to soften up these Lings a little bit. Hypn0tika is reinforcing here as well. Some more Lings coming in from the north side. There are still tons of Lings, and oh no, the supply depot is up, and the Banelings are not going to be able to get here in time, so these Zerglings are going to have free reign on this mineral line, and that tank does go down, so Hypn0tika is trying to come in here, trying to get those Banelings. Purple is doing a great job here, trying to kill those Banelings. One Baneling left for Hypn0tika. Is he going to be able to get this? And those Zerglings are running out, and one Baneling does go down. And and we are just trying to mop up the rest of this base right here. TickTok realizes, hey, it's probably pretty safe, so I'm going to go back to my mineral line. We're just really mopping up this right here, and I save my sentries with a nice little force field there, and oh my god, already from the beginning, this threes is crazy, and the Protoss is finally coming in. He does have that 4 gate up. My sentries might get caught here, and apparently the sentry thinks he can take on 5 stalkers. Not the best odds for him there. A couple of zealots coming in here. I don't have the best units against stalkers right now, but thankfully for me, my allies do have zerglings and a siege tank, which are both very good against stalkers, and a lot of lings coming in right now. And this guy, if he's smart, he's going to go straight for that sentry. Yes, he's going for that sentry, and all of my zealots are now forced to engage because there's no point trying to run away from that, so I am able to soften up these lings a little bit. I think it was a pretty even exchange despite the fact that stalkers were firing on me as well. And a couple of zealots are on here, and I don't know how. I'm such a noob with my block. I can't believe he got through 3 zealots right there. But here, that's not really a huge deal. My probes will be able to deal with it here, and a lot of stalkers for me to deal with. Like I said, those really aren't the best units for me to try to take on right now since I went Zealot Sentry. So we see that siege mode is almost up for Hypn0tika, or for TickTok, and Hypn0tika is going Baneling still, which is definitely the unit he needs to go, and he's actually getting Aspire, so he is double gassed up. He is trying to get mutas. But honestly, I think both of these Zerg players, if they at least one of them should go mutas. This guy's going double hatch, so he's going to be staying with the mass zergling. I don't think that's too bad of an idea as long as he moves them around quite well. So there are a lot of lings on the map right now, a lot of stalkers, and for the Protoss player, it looks like he is going to be sticking with that 4-gate build. He's definitely going into a Twilight Council right now. Hypn0tika realizing, oh man, I better get out of there, so me, I'm still sticking to kind of a conventional 4-gate. I'm not really going any one particular unit in mass because I think I really need all of them at this point. So they're coming up here, and thankfully for me, there is a ramp, so I'm actually able to split up these sentries. These sentries are now committed to this position. My zealots are going to have free range on these stalkers here, so I'm actually in a pretty good spot right now, and TickTok does have this little bobber here, followed by some marines to soften up the rest of those zerglings and roaches, but that is a lot for me to deal with. I don't have any energy left for my sentries. That is no good for me, but since I do have this nice little funnel here, I'm able to use my zealots pretty effectively, so it is still okay. I'm able to defend against this quite well, but there are still quite a few roaches on the map. I only have one stalker here. My last zealot goes down, and I'm trying to defend as much as I can, waiting for my cooldown to go back onto these warp gates. You can really defend a base with a handful of stalkers for a long time because roaches are not a problem, zealots are not a problem. Really the only threat are these stalkers, but if I focus them down, it's not going to be that bad. TickTok is now coming in with a couple of siege tanks, so we were able to defend that actually despite the fact that we were pretty outnumbered. TickTok siege tanks worked very well there. Hypn0tika obviously was teching, so he wasn't able to really get all that much, and he has a couple of banelings sitting in here just in case the zerglings run by. I like that strategy a lot. I think that's very good foresight for the game because look what we have going on right here. Zerglings are coming exactly what Hypn0tika wants him to do, so might we see a baneling bust right in there? Hypn0tika should have just let him go through. I think he was maybe just sending out a scouting pack of zerglings. He might get trapped here though. He should be really careful. He's getting out and rolling. Baneling's coming in. Oh, but he extended his hand a little bit too quickly there, and those zerglings are going to be forced to move. This is not a good place for zerglings. He is taking those siege tanks. I wish Hypn0tika had those zerglings though to try to help this out. 2 tanks is a huge loss for the Terran player to endure, and those roaches are now going to have a pretty good opportunity to take care of that siege tank. One siege tank snipe does go down, and TickTok lost 3 tanks right there. The Protoss player in the meantime is setting up right here behind the grass, possibly going to attack me or the Terran player. We are able to mop up this with relative ease, but the Terran player did sustain some heavy losses over there with losing 3 siege tanks, and the stalker is coming in right here. He decides to ignore this expansion and go straight for my base. This is really bad positioning for us because zerglings are coming back. I'm on the attack right now. It's worth it for me just to try and do whatever I can at this point. I do have my sentry, so I am going to be able to block off quite a bit. So this base is really going to be just one-on-one for me here. In the meantime, these stalkers are just having at my base, taking away all of my pylons, and my nexus is up here finally starting to get those expansions up, but that is a lot of roaches for me to deal with. I might even get pinched here, Stalkers, but I do outnumber these stalkers pretty well. He does have blink, so he might be able to catch up to me, but despite that fact, I am able to handle that attack pretty well. I think I did some decent damage with with resources I had available in TickTok, trying to mop up the rest of what I have right here, and I'm just completely unpowered at this point, and he's going to